Tonight, Canadian wildfire smoke is once again raising air quality concerns across parts of the United States. The fires may be burning hundreds of miles away, but shifting winds can carry that smoke across the border and into major American cities within days. The result can be sudden. Clear skies in the morning can turn hazy by afternoon. Air quality readings can move from moderate to unhealthy within hours. Schools may cancel outdoor activities. Employers may change work schedules. Hospitals may begin preparing for more patients with breathing problems. And the smoke is only one part of a much broader air quality problem. Extreme heat can increase ozone pollution. Drought can send dust into the atmosphere. Longer growing seasons can extend pollen exposure. And once polluted air reaches a community, it can also move inside homes, schools, and workplaces. For millions of Americans, the most visible warning has been the sky itself. During major smoke events, sunlight can take on an orange or red appearance. Skylines may disappear behind a thick haze. The smell of burning wood can reach communities that are nowhere near an active fire. But health officials warn that appearance alone does not determine the danger. Smoke can remain at harmful levels even after the sky begins to clear. In other cases, a plume may be visible high above a city, while air closer to the ground remains less affected. That is why officials rely on the Air Quality Index, along with satellite images and ground-level monitoring stations. The Air Quality Index, or AQI, converts pollution measurements into a color-coded warning system. Green generally represents good air quality. Yellow signals moderate conditions. Orange means the air may be unhealthy for sensitive groups. Red indicates unhealthy air for the general population. Purple and maroon represent very unhealthy or hazardous conditions. During a wildfire smoke event, the main concern is usually fine particulate matter known as PM 2.5. Those particles are extremely small. They can travel deep into the lungs, and some may enter the bloodstream. Exposure can cause coughing, burning eyes, headaches, wheezing, and shortness of breath. It can also worsen asthma and place added strain on the heart and lungs. Children, older adults, pregnant people, and anyone with a respiratory or cardiovascular condition may face a greater risk. Outdoor workers can also receive much higher exposure because of the amount of time they spend outside. The level of risk depends on more than the AQI number. A healthy adult taking a short walk may face less exposure than a child playing a full soccer game or a construction worker spending 8 hours outdoors. Doctors say the duration of exposure, the intensity of the activity, and the health of the person all matter. That is why public health guidance may change from one group to another. A reading classified as unhealthy for sensitive groups may lead schools to move recess indoors, while healthy adults may simply be advised to reduce strenuous outdoor exercise. When the index moves higher, officials may recommend that everyone limit prolonged activity outside. The smoke reaching the United States is tracked from several directions. Satellites can identify active fires, follow the movement of large smoke plumes, and estimate how much smoke is entering the atmosphere. Ground stations measure the particles and gases reaching specific communities. Weather models then combine that information with wind speed, temperature, humidity, and atmospheric pressure to estimate where the smoke may move next. The forecasts are improving, but they are not exact. A slight change in wind direction can move the heaviest smoke away from one city and toward another. A cold front may clear the air quickly. Rain can remove some particles. A stagnant weather pattern can trap smoke close to the ground and keep an alert in place for several days. Smoke can also travel at different altitudes. One section of a plume may remain high above the ground. Another may descend as temperatures and wind conditions change. That is why a regional forecast may not match conditions in every neighborhood. Officials often update air quality guidance several times during the day as new readings become available. For residents, that means a morning forecast may not describe conditions later that afternoon. The Canadian wildfires have forced many American communities to prepare for a hazard they once considered distant. School boards are now using air quality thresholds to decide whether recess, sports, and field trips should continue. Cities are identifying libraries, recreation centers, and other public buildings that can serve as cleaner air spaces. Employers are reviewing plans for outdoor workers. Hospitals and clinics may contact patients with asthma, chronic lung disease, or heart conditions before a major smoke event arrives. Inside the home, the advice is usually straightforward. Keep doors and windows closed when possible. Run air conditioning on a recirculation setting. Use a portable air cleaner with an appropriate filter. Avoid activities that create additional particles indoors, including smoking, burning candles, or using a fireplace. But those recommendations are not equally practical for every household. Some families have central air, newer windows, and several portable filters. Others live in older apartments with poor ventilation, no air conditioning, and little protection from outdoor smoke. Closing the windows during a heat wave can create another danger if indoor temperatures begin to rise. That combination of heat and smoke is now one of the most difficult problems facing emergency planners. A cooling center must also provide clean indoor air. A cleaner air shelter must remain cool enough to be safe during extreme heat. Public buildings that cannot manage both conditions may offer only limited protection. The same problem applies to schools. Older ventilation systems may not be able to filter fine particles effectively. Upgrading those systems can be expensive, especially in buildings already facing major maintenance needs. Still, health officials say better filtration can provide benefits throughout the year, not only during wildfires. It can also reduce exposure to traffic pollution, dust, and other airborne particles. Outdoor workers face a different set of risks. Construction crews, landscapers, farm workers, and delivery drivers may spend hours in conditions the general public is being told to avoid. Employers may need to reduce strenuous work, schedule additional breaks, move shifts to a different time of day, or provide access to filtered indoor spaces. Respiratory protection may also be used, but it must fit properly. Loose cloth masks and surgical masks do not provide the same protection from fine smoke particles as a properly fitted respirator. Heat can make that equipment more difficult to wear, particularly during physical work. That is another reason officials emphasize reducing exposure time whenever possible. Wildfire smoke is also arriving at a time when many cities are already dealing with high ozone levels. Ground-level ozone is different from the protective ozone layer high in the atmosphere. It forms near the surface when pollutants from vehicles, industrial facilities, and other sources react in sunlight. Hot, sunny, and stagnant weather can speed up that process. The sky may remain completely blue while ozone reaches unhealthy levels. Exposure can irritate the lungs, reduce breathing capacity, and make exercise more difficult. During a heat wave, that can add another layer of stress to people who are already struggling with high temperatures. Dust is also becoming a growing concern in dry regions. Strong winds can lift material from drought-affected soil, farmland, construction sites, and exposed lake beds. Large dust storms can sharply reduce visibility and create dangerous driving conditions. Smaller particles may travel much farther and contribute to breathing problems well beyond the area where the dust originated. Pollen adds another complication. Pollen is not included in the air quality index, but it can still cause serious symptoms for people with allergies or asthma. Warmer temperatures and longer growing seasons can allow some plants to produce pollen earlier and continue releasing it later into the year. That can extend allergy symptoms well beyond the period many people expect. Smoke, ozone, dust, and pollen can also occur at the same time. A person may see an acceptable AQI reading but still experience severe symptoms because of pollen. Another person may see clear skies and assume the air is safe, even as ozone levels rise. Health experts say no single number can describe every condition in the atmosphere. The Canadian smoke events have made that message much easier to understand. For decades, air pollution was often viewed as a local issue. People looked to a nearby highway, power plant, or factory when conditions became worse. Those sources still matter, especially in communities near major roads, ports, and industrial areas. But wildfire smoke has shown how quickly pollution can arrive from far beyond the local region. A fire in Canada can affect a school day in New York. Smoke from a remote forest can delay a flight in the Midwest. A weather system can carry particles across several states before the communities below receive their first warning. The United States has made major progress in reducing many traditional forms of air pollution. Lead emissions have fallen sharply. Vehicle standards have become stricter. Power plants and industrial facilities operate under tighter controls. Many cities that once experienced severe smog now record far fewer extreme pollution days than they did several decades ago. That progress has protected public health. But the newer challenge is more complicated. Local governments can regulate vehicles and industrial emissions within their own jurisdictions. They cannot control where wildfire smoke will travel. They cannot prevent drought in another state from creating airborne dust. They cannot stop extreme heat from increasing ozone across an entire region. The response depends heavily on preparation and early warning. That includes better monitoring, more accurate forecasts, stronger indoor filtration, and clearer public guidance. Officials also have to make sure that warnings are practical. Residents need to know whether they should cancel an outdoor activity, keep a child indoors, change a work schedule, or seek medical help. Doctors advise people with asthma or other chronic conditions to follow their treatment plans and keep necessary medication available. Anyone experiencing severe shortness of breath, chest pain, confusion, or symptoms that continue to worsen should seek medical attention. The goal is not to create alarm every time smoke appears on a forecast map. It is to reduce unnecessary exposure when conditions become unhealthy. For most people, that may mean postponing a workout, keeping the windows closed, or spending less time outside. For others, particularly those with existing health conditions, the precautions may need to begin sooner and continue longer. The broader message from these smoke events is now clear. Air quality can change quickly. The pollution may be visible, or it may be almost impossible to detect without a monitor. The source may be nearby, or it may be hundreds of miles away, and conditions outside can become a problem indoors within hours. The next major smoke plume may follow a different route and affect a different part of the country. Some communities may receive several days of warning. Others may see conditions deteriorate much faster. The sky may turn orange, or it may remain nearly unchanged. Either way, the response will depend on the same information: where the smoke is moving, how concentrated it is expected to become, how long it may remain, and who is most at risk. For more Americans, air quality is now becoming part of the daily weather forecast. And when the next alert is issued, the warning may be connected to a fire burning far beyond the horizon.